In this lesson, we're going to practice kicking, what I feel is one of the strongest techniques in karate. There's some important points to realize in kicking. One, that you're standing on one leg, and if you're not, you're jumping. Therefore, if we're standing on one leg, we must consider balance, a criteria for correct body control. Without balance is without control of your technique, without putting direction to the force that's necessary to kick with. No matter what you do, you must maintain the leg in such a way that it's going to act as a cushion, as a support, like a shock absorber in an automobile. If you straighten the leg, you'll find that you have one place to go, over, over, over. Therefore, the leg being bent allows for a cushion, a shock absorber. Important is what portion of the foot we're going to stand on. For example, ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. If, for example, we raise up to kick, we lessen our balance. We also lessen the control. Realize that one thing, that this time in the karate kicks, we must continue to develop torques, twisting, shifting, swinging the hips. And we're not capable of doing that if we don't have a strong base, a constant strong base. Includes toes to the floor, includes ball of the foot to the floor, includes the heel to the floor. At this point here, the knee or leg collapses as a shock absorber. Important, as in all techniques of karate, is that you maintain good posture, as good posture will allow good balance and in turn good dynamic in the technique. We have several kicking techniques, and they can go from simple to extremely advanced. From a jumping kick to dropping on the floor kick. These are advanced kicks. I would like to use this lesson to practice the basic front kick, side kick, round kick, back kick, and reverse roundhouse kick. I will emphasize, constantly emphasize, the balance, the position of the foot, the condition of the leg, and of course, most important, the posture of the body. It's very natural for a student, when he applies his legs, to attempt to lift the legs with his shoulders. This makes a difficulty for balance, as if you raise your shoulders with the intent of lifting your knee, you're going to find that your balance raises. Much better, when you pick the leg up, is to lower your body. Not definitely bend it. Just lower it. Give enough flexibility in the leg to absorb the shock of the action and still maintain balance. Important. Posture, leg, and foot base. Two types of kicking actions that we'll apply is the snap action of the leg and the thrust action of the leg. The snap action is an important point for karate. And at many times, people will ask, how much do you snap? I believe probably 98% of your leg must extend out, for example. If the leg sets up a condition that comes out and locks, then attempts to snap back, this is just about impossible. In the example of the towel, in training, in our last lesson of training in the striking techniques, I made a point to say that what makes the towel a weapon is not the snap out, but the snap back. It develops a shock. We often hear that this time is breaking the sound barrier when it pops. I'm not sure of that. But what I am sure of is if you completely hyperextend the leg as you deliver the technique, you will not be able to snap it back, because the muscles of the leg itself will be expanded to a point that before you snap back, you have to contract them. Therefore, about 90%, 95%, 98%, 110%. The same message with a side snap kick. Criteria, of course, always to say, if you're going to snap, snap back. Don't snap half back. If I have a towel, I swing it out and I snap it partway back. You have partway of a snap. You don't have maximum snapping control. All right? From this point, example is not enough. It's limited. Where it's completely starts from your knee, through your knee, back to your knee. This is snapping action. Whether we're applying a roundhouse kick, a front snap kick, or a side snap kick, the action must be to snap back. The other application and action of the leg is a thrusting motion. This is as I explained in punching. It's easy to understand if you imagine stabbing with a bayonet. You also must pull it back out. In this way, thrusting moves straight to the target. At the completion of this technique, the leg locks, the leg sets. Even though the leg extends out and to a point of hyperextension, it is locked and supported by this time the quads and the calf, as well as the muscles surrounding the knee, support that action. It locks the action. There is no recoil, reflex, but a complete setting of the technique. These are the two major actions of the leg for beginners, as well as this time advance. Key on, as I said, snapping, not partway, snap back. In snapping actions, do not allow the leg to stop. I should say, do not allow the foot to stop. Extend it out and just exactly to the end, as we were talking before. 95% of it. Bring it back. Don't allow it to set. Side thrust kick. Set it. Set it with your leg, and we'll talk a little bit later in this lesson about setting it with the body. I was very fortunate in my career. as I had some of the greatest karate masters to compete with and participate with and be instructed by. Master Okazaki of old Philadelphia was one of the finest kicking technicians who could have been seen. Master Kanazawa, another fine creator of good kicking, strong kicking, and good models for me to practice as. Hidetaka Nishiyama, my sensei and my only sensei, give us a strong foundation and understanding the importance of delivering the body to support the technique. Throughout the years of my experience, I have found that even if a person is extremely small, and not extremely small, but a smaller person, all right, as in Master Mikami, tremendous striking power strength, because they truly understood the dynamic in the technique. Secondly is that they had the flexibility and the control to show you this. Tremendous power. The object of kicking, even though you're standing on one leg, must be to put the weight of your body on your foot. Which leads to this idea next. I'm going to utilize a chair for better balance and to give you a better idea, or show you a better idea of what we should do with the leg. The hip angle becomes extremely important to the development of giving weight to the technique. If the knee is not lifted up, there's still an area to go. And I'm not saying that this time it's not bad to lift the knee up this much, if that's what you're limited to. But if you're not, pick the knee up so you develop an angle at your hip. This should feel like a contraction of the muscles of the quad and the low abdominals. So rather than the leg being picked up by itself, utilizing, this time, the quad to pick it up, the hamstrings to hold it up, you must have a feeling of lifting the leg up with your body. So you may have a small contraction of your body center to squeeze to pick this up. No matter what type of kick we're practicing, I'm going to go back to this same angle. Whether it's a front snap kick, I want this angle for the connection. If it's a roundhouse kick, I want this angle for the connection. Keep in mind, close and tight. This technique, close and tight. Side thrust kick, same point. Up, close, and tight. Pick up this angle. Back thrust kick, same message, close and tight to here. These are basically the key to develop the body and the technique as a unit. Major actions for kicking, as in punching, as in blocking, must also include a condition for the body to move. Let's assume, as we talked in the other lesson, about driving forces with the body. Shifting, as I was speaking earlier, is linear momentum, moving your body in a straight line. Let's assume for a moment I'm kicking and I'm moving my body to the kick. For example, I want to take my body weight and move it forward. But I know if I twist my body weight pitches here. Therefore, when I shift, I want to shift my body to the front. In the application of kicking, this is your driving motion. This is your power. This is the course of your power. If I deliver a kick, I don't want to take my body and spin it here to this condition while I drive my kick straight. If I'm about to turn my body, I'll reapply my technique into a different type of kicking action. Therefore, in front kick, drive your hip straight, drive your leg behind it each time. This is shifting. No matter if you're swinging the body as in a pendulum, it still qualifies as a shifting technique because it's using the weight of the body directed to a target that you're attacking with a front kick. This applies to side snap kick as well, and to roundhouse kick as well. But being that we're talking about linear momentum and not angular momentum as we would apply in roundhouse kick, let's continue with the idea of side snap kick. Side snap kick or side thrust kick. A couple little different points. One, in the side snap kick, because the leg or the foot moves in an arc. Your hip must also move in an arc to move it. So as you deliver the kick, you create the angle, then you create the action, then you create the kick. In the application of thrusting, little different. As I said, thrusting again is shifting the body in. But instead of swinging it, or let's say tilting the hip up in this manner here, the leg or body goes straight forward. It means as best I can, I'm going to take my hip from here and I'm going to shove it to the side. Move it to the side. Along with the front snap kick, the shifting, also includes the back thrust kick. Same message exactly. If, for example, I'm thrusting back, what I don't want to do if I'm about to kick here is spin my body. You know, you can kick anywhere you want, in any way you want. But as you practice, practice only direct actions. For example, I don't want any gray. This is a front snap kick. This is the side snap kick. This is the back thrust kick. Now the point is, of course we can, in self-defense, we can kick from here, anywhere in there, any angle we want. But when you practice, you must practice also the science, which means you must understand the dynamic of the body, the torque of the body, the shifting of the body. Therefore, get the body action behind the technique and not spray it out. Not where the body's going here, technique's going here. Including side snap kick. So many times, you'll find people to snap will twist here, then pick the leg up. Well, if that was the case, I would tell you to kick, instead of to the front or side, this angle. It's not about how high you can kick. It's about how correct you can kick. But because even a small low kick can do damage to a knee. It doesn't need to be high. So the criteria for good kicking is not the height, but the movement behind it. So, self-defense, kick, punch, block anywhere that's important. But in practice, use your body correctly each time. Easy message is when we practice kata, as we have in the last lesson, that we find we can't do the techniques the way we want, the way the body sets. In other words, we can't. Of course we can do that, but it's not karate. All right? You must understand exactly the body connection, the body dynamics. Now, I've spoken a little bit about shifting. Let's talk a little bit more about rotating the body. And I will use this chair for an example. The idea of rotation is first off positioning your knee to develop that hip in such an angle that you form a connection. Now I see a lot of kicks through the many videotapes I've watched over the years. I've seen few strong kicks, and I've seen many kicks applied that I would like to say, do this, what I'm about to tell you and convey to you. To draw a comparison to what we're doing and what somebody else is doing, imagine this. A pirouette. How do they increase the speed? Whether it's in ice skating, ballet, dance, whatever. They don't increase the speed by extending the leg away from the body. If anything, this detracts from the speed. If you will observe how they increase the speed, you'll find that they draw their arms and or legs together. And they form the tightest, closest line that they can. In this manner here, they generate speed. Whereas in the other idea, they will be swinging it. Oh, of course, swinging will be fine. And if you practice it hard enough, it'll be very lethal. But let's make it better. Let's keep in mind that we've got to draw this knee in close to our body if we want maximum speed. Tight to the body. And in this manner here, we can deliver the technique. I hope you understand this point. It becomes extremely important, and it's always a wonderful point for argument. But I still believe when we go back to the science and the physics of this, you'll find that this time, as long as the hip is held in and the leg is held close to the body, you can increase the speed. We have definite courses to all these kicks to apply this. But I think the criteria for all of this, as we're practicing, is how quick can we get the knee in front of us? How quick can we get that angle? How sharp can we get that angle to deliver this? Much different than this, or this, or this. Much different. Therefore, any of your practice must be to bring this up, get this angle, develop the angle in the hip, so that the easy message is, with the angle, I'm connected. It's easy to turn. If I'm applying the front snap kick with this angle, I'm easy to shift. With the side thrust kick, same message. Easy to shift, easy to connect the body is the main point. It's been said that this time on the application of roundhouse kick that you move the foot first and then apply it. I don't think so, because the rotation of the body is coming from the foot. And if you lift it up, you destabilize your stance. This is shotokan. Therefore, the feeling must be off your ankle to your hip and eventually to the leg. The foot can turn, but only under torque. As the body torques, put pressure on the foot, continue spinning the leg, and apply your roundhouse kick. If it breaks and the heel is up, balance is off, the condition is off for control. Or it can be a kick, and it could be good enough. But it's not science, and it's not what we're doing. Therefore, continually keep in mind, pressure to the floor, then twist the hip, then allow this twisting to be coupled to your kick. Another action we must consider is dropping the body at the time we stomp, each time. In some small way, even though the leg is bent, when you drop the body, the leg must allow for a bend. If we're stomping, the leg must drop. This allows the weight of your body to be on the heel. In all the techniques, this is so important, as I said, just to make sure that if you're 100 pounds, there's 100 pounds on your foot. If you just kick in place, it becomes extremely difficult to allow weight to go in. So many times it would be best to kick and go in, allowing the weight of this, as I will explain using my assistant today, to be given to the end of the technique, whether it's a front kick, a roundhouse kick, side snap, side thrust, back thrust. The object is to give weight. My assistant for today is Lindy Relius. She's a third-degree black belt in Shotokan Karate. Lynn, all right. The front snap kick, for example. Give me your right leg. Boom. This is basically the contact area. But if you observe, Lindy is very well balanced. If I move away, she could still hold her leg out. This doesn't allow for any body weight to be given to the technique. Therefore, let's say Lindy's position now, come forward, come forward, come forward, and Lindy feels if I move, she drops. Bring it back up, Lindy. From here, she moves forward. Her hips straighten out, and she directs this hip from that foot in. Right now, Lindy has her 125-pound body on my belt. If she can get that 125-pound body moving and catch me in this position, it's serious body weight. This is exactly the weight. If she rotates her hips at this contact point, she cannot push in. Please try. Now square your hips, Lynn, and push straight in. Now she has weight. I would really like to see on impact this much extension. And so will you, because it's a guarantee. Even if your kick is a little corrupted, even if it's not as pure as a Sensei Kanazawa or a Sensei Nishiyama or a Sensei Okazaki, it is still good enough to be a viable karate technique, to do damage, to inflict pain. Second condition, side kicking, of which we have two types, snapping and thrusting. You'll find in the application of snapping, it's a little bit shorter kick. Lynn, it's a little shorter kick because it moves in an arc upwards, therefore hitting points of the body. For example, the chin, the groin, the arm, the body if it's leaned over. Please observe the course. Out, back and down. Now what I want Lindy to do is to, when she applies this, to really swing that hip in. So I would say tilt the hip. Go. The side thrust kick is not tilting the hip. It's moving the leg and the body as a unit. Bring it up here. Side thrust kick. And you will see at this point here, this is a different kick. This kick you need distance. Because if you make contact and you're attempting to push in, you're not in place to do this. The leg must extend straight, 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 and lock. The body, the foot, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder must be in a straight line. In this way here, her leg is cushioned, she has the balance, and she can push in. As she pushes in, she feels like she's pushing in with the heel. Lindy has her body weight behind this technique. The movement of the leg itself, or the movement of the body, is no more than that. Moving, as I explained earlier, moving the body in a straight angle, in a straight line to the target. So on the application of side snap, it's short. On the application of side thrust, it's long. All right? For example, side snap. Okay, side thrust. That's the difference. The application, the body swings up. The other application, the body goes in. Now, next idea, same message with roundhouse kick. Lynn, this side. Lift your leg. Right leg's up. With this angle, Lynn is torquing from the stance. She's maintaining this in, and she kicks. Look at me, Lynn. Here, grab my hand. Okay, pop me here. Roundhouse kick. Okay? Important is that she doesn't break this as she brings it in. She keeps it narrow. 2. Okay, 3. All right? Roundhouse kick. And set down, Lynn. Again, very important, picking this leg up to the side. Back thrust kick. A very strong kick, referred to as a Missouri mule kick for some of us Americans out there. Important is that when Lynn kicks with a back thrust, she's feeling her tailbone must go back to the target to meet the target. If Lynn spins off, the weight of the body delivered will be here, while the technique may be here. Therefore, put your hands on my shoulders, Lynn. As she bring your knee up. As she extends the kick out, the leg drops, her hip stays down, and important, square your hips. Glance over your shoulder, not under. As if you glance under the shoulder, in this manner here, the contact will force you the opposite way. Consequently, you will bounce off. For you guys out there surfing, it's the same way trying to catch a wave. You got to be in front of it. And you know if you lift your head, you come out of it. I'm talking about body surfing. Therefore, with looking back, stands to reason, your weight is going back. If you look down and under, on contact, you will pitch forward. Therefore, it's important. Back thrust kick that way, Lynn. Okay, go. At this point here, support knee is bent, weight is down, roll your hip down, and she picks up an arc, or an arch in her body. In this way here, this is a strong technique. With her head moving down and under her shoulder, looking under it, your shoulder, she goes forward. It's a given. Therefore, each time the back thrust kick applied, you feel first point is that the tailbone is to your opponent. Secondly, the heel. Now roll that down, man. The heel is exactly in line to this. So that the technique follows the action of the body. 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 The action of the body each time. These are important points to consider as you're practicing. Rather than just swing your legs, swinging them. Keep in mind that you have to use them as a weapon. They can't be just something to walk on. It's also so important, especially for many styles, to realize that you have to develop flexibility in your legs. So there's never too much stretching. There's never incorrect stretching. But if you're going to apply a front snap kick and you want to kick at the face, position your body in the way that's correct, that has the correct dynamic of the body, and stretch that. It's not important how high you can get your leg, but how correct you can get it as you make it high. Absolutely no point just picking it up, but directing it, then lift it up. This is correct stretching. The other point I find most important, and this I learned later in my career, is that how important it is to relax in here. If your mind is tight, your legs are going to be tight. If you pick your legs up to the side and do this, all right, and you're tight here, you're going to be tight in the groin. You must develop a very casual, soft feeling with your hips. I observed many styles of karate, taekwondo, muay thai, etc. And the ones I look at for the best relaxation is none of the above. But what I'll observe is a basketball player walking across a field, completely relaxed in the body, completely relaxed in the hip. We must differentiate between being stiff in our technique and being fluid. And that fluidity is going to come with the body being relaxed. Secondly, with the body relaxed, it's wonderful to bring tension into it. Rather than already being tensed and then a little bit more tension, when it's this much and it's off and it's relaxed. Relaxation is extremely important. I think part of this has to come with the enjoyment you find in your practice. If you truly enjoy the karate practice and the development of the technique and the realization of the development of some very serious weapons for you, then relax and enjoy it. It's extremely important, because with that enjoyment, your body relaxes. It's natural for beginner students, for you beginner students, to overexert yourself, to apply yourself in so much that's so unnecessary. Realize that the more body you bring into play, the more muscles you must control. So to maintain a natural condition, a soft, relaxing condition, must be the criteria for good kicking, for effective kicking, and quick kicking, no matter thrusting or snapping. You'll find in difficult situations you may be in, your legs will feel like 1,000 pounds apiece. But if you learn how to relax, you will never feel that. Unfortunately, you first have to learn to enjoy the karate technique. Now, I have some ways I think I would like to show you about the movement of the technique, which I believe is important. For example, Lynn, face that way. In the application of front snap, put your toes and heels together as we practice. In the application of front snap kick, I want to see that body go straight. The foot, all right, is to your knee, and practice this. Go ahead, Lynn. Take it up to the knee. Develop that balance. Now, the action I want you to apply is to be able to swing the hip and the knee as a unit. And at the end of this motion here, release the foot. It makes a very big difference if the leg is only held at a low height. Because as she swings her body forward, she extends it. This excludes her body from being a part of it. Therefore, with this angle here, she can create the action and continue maintaining the strength of the body as she delivers the kick. To here. Side snap kick. If she picks the leg up to the side to deliver, side snap. Same message, same angle. Here, as tight as she can through here. This point here is important. As she delivers the kick, she tilts her hip up. Good. This is the practice. Put it down. So as she draws it up, she draws her knee to the side. As she draws it up, she draws her knee to the side. Take it all the way up to catch that angle. As she draws it, put it down. As she draws it up, she draws the knee to the side to catch that angle. At the completion of that, she delivers the kick. And all the way down, and one more. And one more. Side snap kick. Side thrust kicks, there's a lot of different ideas. Side thrust kick and back thrust kick, because you stop the technique on target. Feels like it's strong. As she extends out and locks it, go. It has a feeling of strength, because the momentary thing is gone. And right away she can feel the strength in her body. Easy. But the reality is, she has no balance. So, like the side snap kick, she must deliver weight to it, make the sharpest focus she can, and then pull it out. Now, many people have said, in this application, pick the knee up to the chest. I don't believe that's correct. I believe the knee should be held to the side of the body, just outside the line of the body. The object of thrusting is to bring this foot up in such a way that it thrusts straight out, as in a dagger. And the object of your training, I can do this, is to improve this angle. So if Lynn brings the legs straight up to her chest, to here, and then she extends out and back, we have two actions. We have one of lifting the leg up, and we have one of thrusting it out. That's too late. Therefore, with the knee taken slightly to the side, it rounds this squareness. For example, lifting it up, thrusting it out. The important point of your practice is to eliminate this angle and allow a curve to happen. Easy delivery is, for beginner students especially, just a little bit to the side. Just if this is the width of the body here, her leg is just outside the hand. This develops a smooth course of travel for the kicking technique. Back thrust kicking. Same message. If she picks the leg up to get that angle at the hip, and then she fires the kick back in this manner here, again it's going to be a double action. She must deliver the technique basically from the floor. An easy message would be to think, just lean back. In that motion, pick up the knee at this point here. Then, as she practices, sit down, the movement will be to move forward as she delivers back. 1, 2. So it's simultaneous. The body leans forward, while this time the knee lifts up, connecting everything. Some of the ways we could practice these techniques. May I have a chair, Mr. Relius? I hate to disturb you. At home, use a chair. Get yourself close to it. Practice your kicks. Get close to it. Practice. Don't be afraid of it. Roundhouse kick. Same message. Get the chair in front of you. Pick it up. So this time your knee is above the chair. Deliver the kick. Bring it back. Thrusting kick. Good practice is picking the knee up and thrusting down each time. Up and down. Useful weapons. Useful objects to practice. Kicking. Get a pillow. Solid pillow. Don't try to kill the pillow. Just try to make contact with it. Look at the pillow. Lean your foot against your partner in the application of front kick. And push. 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 That's the kick I want. Side thrust kick. Lean and push. Back thrust kick. That's okay. And push. Same message. The points of contact. And I will use Lynn again. All right. Your foot, Lynn. There's no such thing as bad contact, except if you hit the wrong target. Generally, we'll practice using the ball of the foot. We can also practice using the top of the foot in the application of roundhouse kick, front snap kick. In this manner here, the foot angle must be straight. In this angle here, the toes bent over can serve. I think it's better to kick with the ball of the foot for beginners. because you begin to understand the thought process to the foot, and it forces you to think of what takes place here. Second point is, the more mass we can have in a smaller area, the more shock we have. In this manner here, if we kick with the top of the foot, the focus, the concentration, the strength is spread out over the top of the foot. And another point which is important for health, using the top of the foot, if you hit an elbow, you won't kick that way again. Whereas the ball of the foot has the cushion, has the ball, and has the support. Side kicking, point of contact. Then, in the application of side thrust kick, use the edge of the foot, but more specifically, where I lay my finger. If you kick here, you'll find that this time the foot can be damaged. If you align your leg to your heel, no damage. So where I place my finger on the thrusting kick, for the thrusting kick, is to this edge here. Side snap kick, because the action swings up. Go. It swings up. Do it again and stop it. We will utilize the top side edge of the foot. So you, rather than using what we'd classify as a cutting edge, we'd use the top of the cutting edge, the top side. If it was a knife, for example, all right, rather than this part. In this manner here, go ahead, Lynn, pop it. Top part. In the application of back kicking, extend it. Use the heel. Exactly the heel. As you don't want the power or the shock of the technique to spread exactly at this point. Therefore, pull your toes back, the angle of your foot back, and deliver with the heel. Roundhouse kick. Two ways you can use, except depends where you kick. Yeah. This roundhouse kick, the course should be not so much parallel to the floor, but with a feeling that she's driving, let's say, a post into the ground. So at the end of the technique, I want her to twist the foot down. And the completion of the technique, I want her to lift the foot up. This is the correct application from a wash. Down and up. So as she delivers this, the knee will come in at a high angle. That's right, Lynn. At a high angle, for roundhouse kick, pick it up. Roundhouse. At a high angle from here, and it will have a feeling of driving the post down into the ground and then back. You know, it's very familiar, very similar, excuse me, it's very similar to the idea of punching. Karate is a science because we don't just start and focus on the beginning of the action, but we must follow the action to its completion. If we just deliver something and let it fly out and forget where it goes, it's no more than just fighting. But it's not fighting. It's science, and most important, it's a physical art. So we must have an exact technique to apply. Again, on the roundhouse kick, she can use softer parts, meaning the top of the foot. She can apply it here, she can apply it to the face. I still don't think it's going to have the shock and the strength that the ball of the foot would, for the same purpose as the other techniques. We use all the power and magic we have in our body, and we put it into one technique. If it's one knuckle, I want my 175-pound body on one knuckle. If it's a roundhouse kick or a side kick or a back kick, I want 175 pounds on the smallest point of my body directed at the target that I can put together. Well, you know, there's many, many kicking techniques in karate. What I've explained now is some of the very fundamental karate techniques. In our next lessons, we will look to more advanced kicking techniques. We have a spinning hook kick, a spinning back kick, what they call a reverse roundhouse kick, jumping kicks, etc., etc. The legs are such a wonderful weapon, even for the novice, a wonderful weapon. Even though they're not clean and as beautiful as a high-level black belt, they're wonderful weapons. As a young man, I learned very early in my career in a very simple way. I looked at the size of my arms, and then I looked at the size of my legs, and I realized if I could make these move like my arms, and it's the only power I had, the arm power, the leg power, legs are going to win. If you take that idea and you apply that with the dynamics of the body in karate, the shifting, the rotation, the movement, the dropping, you have tremendous striking force. I remind all of you, if you're delivering a kick to somebody's groin, start kick here, but end it here. Never think of just flick somebody with a kick. I would imagine that if you're going to kick somebody for self-defense, you're in a serious situation. And if you are, you better kick strong. And you better kick with deliberacy. Not just to flick somebody in the groin, not just to touch somebody in the body, but to cut them in two, split them like a log. This is a serious situation. But so are the kicks. As you practice the kicks, make sure you practice daily. Make sure you get so familiar with your legs. It would be the same object as lifting your hand up to feed your face. The movement of our arms as we move them every day allows us also to relax. There's no point doing this or this. But yet when we move our legs, we stiffen up. No. Idea's got to be to relax them. To work the legs in such a way, the legs, the body, the tuning can work for you, not against you. Don't work so hard on them. Work with a correct action, but work it every day. As a young man, I realized very early the usefulness of the legs for self-defense. You too can realize the same idea. Yet you have to practice. But you have to relax. If anything I've said during this whole lesson, please pick up on the point of relaxation. Thank you.